Well, good evening and welcome to our August 25th, 2015 Board of Canvass for Ogden City. Let the roll call reflect that all board members are present. And the first and only item on our agenda for tonight is consideration of certifying the election results for the August 11th, 2015 municipal primary. So we have Tracy Hansen to give us a presentation.
Evening. Microphone. Tonight I'm here to present the results for the primary election. As you know, Utah code provides that an election can be administered by absentee ballot, also known as a by-mail ballot. And we took advantage of this using a vote-by-mail hybrid method where all active voters were mailed a ballot approximately 30 days prior to the election. And on election day, there were 3 citywide vote centers available for those who prefer to vote by machine. A secure drop box was provided at the recorder's office. It was there for the full 30-day period, so people could return their ballots without having to pay for postage. There were also secure drop boxes at each vote center on election day if they just wanted to drop them off that day. Overall, our voter turnout was 14.82%, which is still really low, I think, but it was double our last primary, so we were pleased with that. Oh. lost a name there. The official results for the for the Municipal Ward 4 was Dory Mosier, 375 votes, Ben Nadolski, 1,072, John Thompson, 206, and Daniel Gladwell, 624. So Mr. Nadolski, Mr. Gladwell will be listed on the ballot for the general election. I apologize. I was trying to be fancy and lost everything. For the at-large C, Eric Holmes, his total was 815 votes. Vance J. Jackson, 597. Luis Lopez, 1,488. Virginia Hernandez Reza, 606. And John Ogden, 1,305. Mr. Lopez and Mr. Ogden will appear on the general ballot. So just a brief summary, there were 10 provisional ballots cast at the polls. All of them counted. So the voters were able to provide whatever information had been missing or was necessary, so all of those counted. The by-mail ballot summary, there was 24,956 ballots sent. Those are sent to the active voters, and 1,896 came back, just undeliverable by the post office. So there were 96 ballots that were not counted due to different reasons, such as incomplete affidavits, no signatures, or signature did not match. When that type of thing happens, they are sent a letter by the county. They provide them whatever information is necessary to complete and return to them, or they're invited to come down to the county's office to complete the information. So in the end, 96 votes did not get counted.
So would any of those be counted if somebody came and put us, like, say if it's returned because it wasn't signed? Does it have to be signed by the deadline and turned in, or?
They can come in and sign the ballot in the presence of the officials there, and it will count.
Okay.
They also make phone calls to them where they have numbers where they're able to reach them. So they make every effort to get a hold of the voters. I think they have every chance to come in and correct it or fix whatever is necessary.
What about the return by mail? Do you have a program to contact those individuals or research that?
There is a full-time person at the county who works specifically on voter registration. That's part of that area. So they try to reach them, but usually what's happened is the address isn't valid, so we don't have a way to contact them.
Okay.
So. Mark Thomason, the Utah Elections Director, said, as much as everyone tries, there's just no such thing as a perfect election. There never is. By conducting vote by mail in such a widespread election in so many cities, it allows us to learn what we need to do better. I think everyone did the best they could to prepare, knowing there would be some challenges. I think Ogden did very well. I don't think we had a large amount of challenges. Some of the challenges we did have was a lack of candidate information. The bulk of all the phone calls that we receive in the recorder's office and in the county clerk's office are citizens who want information about candidates, and they're upset that they can't find it. So and I have a hard time saying it, vote.utah.gov, the candidate has opportunity to put a profile online, and the city directs from the webpage directs people to that profile. Only 4 of our candidates put a profile up.
A question about that. There is a deadline that is in place for that, and I guess after that deadline there is no editing or anything. Is there some discussion that could maybe be a little bit better?
The county is discussing it with the Lieutenant Governor's office. They think the deadline is early, and they'd like to see it changed a bit or see opportunity for editing if necessary. That might run through a checkpoint at the Lieutenant Governor's office runs that site and maintains that. So there is discussion about it.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like that, there are some issues that do come to light after the deadline, and it would be nice to make some edits. And
yeah, I know also yourself, we're not on your profile doesn't show because you didn't have a primary race.
Right.
And we're asking that be changed also. Candidates or citizens are interested in looking for information early, whether there's a primary for that race or not. So we'd like to see that be available all the time as well.
And Tracy, if I'm correct, after the primary, then they have another opportunity to go on and
yes,
add if they hadn't to put their information on that web page.
They do, and we will encourage them to do that. That's our resource. The recorder's office is to try to remain neutral, and it may appear as though we're favoring candidates if some candidates' information is online and some isn't from our website. So that's why we refer them to the state site.
Well, and I think, the Salt Lake Tribune doesn't cover Ogden issues very often. There have been a lot of cuts at the Standard Examiner. It's just, I think it is harder for people to get information. That was the biggest complaint I heard too, was not so much the mail-in ballots or anything like that. People like those. It was, how do I find out information on people?
Exactly, yeah. It seemed that voters liked to be able to vote at their convenience. We didn't have any complaints about the vote by mail other than they would like to see ballot boxes out on the weekends so they could turn in their ballot on the weekends. And we are looking into an option that we might be able to have a secure ballot box outside so that they could just drive through and drop it off. Those who didn't like the vote by mail option could come in and vote at a vote center. And there were 216 people who chose that option. The rest were all vote by mail ballots.
Did we get a lot of ballots dropped off that day?
On election day, we did. I believe it was about 1,200. So it was significant. Yeah. We didn't receive any phone calls specifically to our office where people were upset about not having postage or having to pay the postage to return a ballot. So we're hopeful that the drop boxes gave them options to return. We feel that the postcard mailer we sent out was helpful in giving information to voters so that they knew this is how we were administering the election, and they knew what their options were. They could call and ask questions. We had a recording on our phone line in the recorder's office so that people could get information whether we were in the office or not. Let's see. There are approximately 1,200 ballots received on election day that qualified for counting, but were not included in the totals that evening. State law only allows us to release results on the night of the election and then not again till the canvass. And we would like to see that change. There's concerns with counting the ballots before the polls close to make sure that people haven't sent a ballot in and then run to the polls and vote. So we cannot ensure reliable internet connections. With voting centers, anybody and everybody can vote there, so it's harder to record a vote. So those are some of the challenges that we faced in having so many ballots, so why there's a significant difference between the unofficial results and then tonight's canvass. But we would like to, Weber County is working with Lieutenant Governor's office to see some changes to legislation that would allow us another date to release numbers before the canvass. But in general, we feel it was a successful election. We think or hope to have a higher turnout in the general. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any more questions for Ms. Hanson? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Very well done.
I think that just the increase is, I mean, I know that you didn't think that it was, you were hoping for more, but I think the increase is better than what I had expected, so.
Okay, well, we'll look for motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the Board of Canvass.
You probably want to certify first.
Oh, yes, let's certify the election.
Yeah.
Consideration of certifying. I'll make a motion that we certify the municipal primary election results.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by Councilmember Blair to certify the election results of August 11th. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. Before the night is up, we have we need your signature on this form. Tracy has threatened my life if we don't get that, and that would include the mayor. So anyway, next item is need a motion to adjourn.
I'll now make that motion to adjourn the Board of Canvass meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Garner, seconded by Board Member Wicks to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Okay, just as we just need one copy of this? Okay, and we can do that when we get into the other room. So just as a reminder, there will be a city council or a redevelopment agency meeting tonight, followed by a city council work session. The items to be discussed will be on the agenda.